Good evening, and welcome to the interim board meeting of the Board of School Directors of the School District of Springfield Township. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A reading of the mission statement. The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high-achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community. Mr. King?
Mr. Bedard, Mr. Chapman, Ms. Jordan.
Here.
Mr. Lapidus, Ms. Nelson.
Here.
Mr. Rayer.
Here.
Ms. Sarsfield.
Here.
Ms. Lipinski.
Here.
Dr. Taratusky.
Here. Announcements. The board at its discretion may videotape all or any portion of public board meetings subject to the limitations set forth in Policy 006.2, broadcasting of meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following the board meeting. Are there any public comments on agenda items?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Please state your name and where you live, please.
For the record, my name is Giuseppe, Giuseppe, Monticelli, Monticelli. I am having a comment tonight about multiple subjects.
My first subject is going to be about the personal attachment here. What we have going on here is we're going to have a ESY program, which is very beneficial for students that are applicable under the IDEA Act, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. And that's an extended school year program, and I would highly object to Laura Delaney, the speech pathologist, being hired on because it doesn't state here the hourly rate. Maybe if we put the hourly rate of how much she's getting per hour, then that would kind of better improve my judgment if I would object to that item or not. Second objection would be hiring all these special education teachers for the ESY program. We don't know the hourly rate. Then Ruth Caution, she's going to be your physical therapist. I would not object to that being passed. Ruth Caution is, quite frankly, a very, very good physical therapist. And she has been in this district for, my knowledge, over a decade, providing contracting work for physical therapy. And I see no problem with hiring her. Let's get to those conference workshops. Ms. Johnson, our special education director, she's going to be going on a spring legal roundup. I would object to that. It's going to be $149 for the registration fee, $6.03 for the transportation and lodging. What's neat? But, you know, I wouldn't quite object to Ms. Johnson's tonight. I would allow that go through. What I would object to tonight is Miss Mary Jo Yannicones and you, Miss Hacker, especially you, Miss Hacker, because you're going on a very interesting herbal treatment retreat to the great state of Colorado, specifically Colorado Springs, for $353 straight even for the Stalley District Admin Leadership Instructional Superintendent's Conference, in which you must have a membership fee to in order to attend. So this district has been paying a membership fee to that. So I would object highly for that to be passed. But Mary J. Danicone and Nancy Hacker, I would object for those to both be passed tonight. Getting to my second round here, I would object to the Solicitor Services recommendation motion for services between July 1st, 2019 until June 30th, 2020. And I would object to the Wood Services it's pretty much identical as a warehouse. Come on, you gotta send these kids to these residential or treatment facilities? I would highly object to both those items, and I believe that would be the end of my public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Reports and information, administrative reports, Dr. Hacker.
Thank you very much. I just have two things this evening. First of all, we would all like to extend our extreme sympathies and condolences to the family of Dan Ellis. Dan was our assistant soccer coach who unfortunately passed away recently. The funeral, unfortunately, and the viewing is this evening, which is where Dr. Rittenhouse is. So thank you, Mr. LaRocco, for being here in his place this evening. But I just wanted to take a moment to recognize Mr. Ellis for his work and to express our sympathies to his family on behalf of the school district for his very untimely passing. I'd also like to call up Craig Thorne, who's going to give a brief update about the status of our construction projects. So Craig, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hacker. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So as you know, as you drive by, you can see a lot of activity going on with the two projects. I'd like to start with the ELC first. A lot of steel going up. That project, as well as both of them, are on budget and also on time. So they're on schedule and overall budget. So what held the projects up a little bit during the last few months is rain. We've had a ton of rain, really held up, put it in footers, erecting steel. So we've seemed to have gotten past that, so that's great. As you can see down the ELC, there's the steel is up, the roof membranes are on, so we're getting ready to actually start installing shingles. Some of the side walls are going up. There's pictures there for the board to take a look. So again, going very well, on schedule, so no major issues at all. So the high school, a little bit of a challenge with an open campus, an active campus with all our students and staff here. Weather, again, was a challenge. We were just able to install the new sod on the girls' softball field. They had their first home game today. So it was great to see. There was some families out there, staff. The girls really looked nice. So that, again, was a challenge with the weather. We're actually installing the boys' baseball field in the next few days, so that should be ready by Monday. Upcoming with the summer work, there's a lot of work. There's really only 8 weeks in the summer from graduation until the start of school, so there is still a large amount of work left. There's a lot of interior space that we have to renovate, reconstruct. We got to get the gymnasium together, ready for September. The outside, again, we still have to install the tennis courts outside, complete the roadway work around, a lot of site work still to be done. So what we're doing now is trying to plan that, put all the contractors, all the ducks in a row, making sure everybody has enough manpower, enough material, and the schedule's laid out pretty tightly for them, that as soon as one contractor finishes, the other one goes right ahead and gets there. So very challenging summer ahead. I'd like to say thank you to the Dewey engineers for our construction management, the oversight. It's been wonderful. Mr. King, Dr. Hacker. There's a lot of daily decisions that have to be made with budget, with just a whole host of things, and it's been great support, so thank you. So the projects are going very well. Any questions?
Thank you, Craig. And we want to certainly extend our thanks and appreciation to you for your tremendous oversight and watching very carefully in terms of what the contractors are doing, despite the fact that we do have an engineering company that is overseeing everything and really helping to coordinate the projects. You've really been in there looking at everything, monitoring everything. You bring it to our attention immediately if there are any delays or any issues that arise, which we appreciate. We we often joke that we have a second job in terms of these construction projects, and it certainly takes up a significant portion of your time and energy as well. So we appreciate that very much, and we know you're out there every day monitoring everything that's going on. The other thing I just wanted to mention to the board that I think I had mentioned in my last board brief is, as you're aware, with the construction of the new elementary school, we've also been looking at furniture. So it's been very time-consuming. You saw the boards that were up here in terms of the interior finishes. We just paid a visit to Corbett Incorporated in Norristown in order to pick out classroom furniture, large group space furniture, and now we're going to be working in another couple of weeks on office furniture for the office areas as well. So there are a lot of moving parts to all of these projects, and it does take up a lot of time and energy, but it's also a lot of fun too. And it's very rewarding, of course, when you see literally the projects rising up out of the dirt and becoming something that we know will be great learning spaces for the kids. So it's very exciting. So thank you, Craig, for everything.
Thank you.
I just had one question about I know that the property committee gets a lot of briefs on the entrance for the high school, but I just wanted to, just for our people that are viewing,
Sure.
our great viewing audience, if you could just describe a little bit of what's going on.
Sure. Yep. The big part of opening the new driveway right behind the bleachers was the highway occupancy permit that we secured from PennDOT. So we wanted to tackle that earlier in the project in the fall. Unfortunately, we had to jump a few hurdles there. The weather turned. So right now we're looking to possibly do that, open the new driveway up and close the existing one off, probably after graduation. Yeah, the contractor has been talking, our site contractor has been talking about possibly doing it earlier, but they actually have to mill and pave all of Paper Mill Road, restripe it before they can open up that new road. So it's very challenging. So I think the best thought now is just to wait until school ends and actually tackle that during the summer.
If you recall, there was actually a board motion, I forget whether it was a month or two ago, for additional work that we had to end up doing as the result of PennDOT requirements, which included the work on Paper Mill Road, which Craig is referring to, which came as a bit of a surprise to us. But in order to get that new road open, we had to comply with what PennDOT was requesting.
Craig, I just want to extend my thanks to you. Watching you work over the last 2 years has been very impressive. You know, we have these superintendent meetings weekly, we have job meetings bi-weekly, and there's 12, 14 seasoned construction personnel in these meetings. And the knowledge that Craig has about every one of their functions, what they do, and I watched this man put these people on task and bring things up that they hadn't thought about. It's very impressive, and I knew that it was going to be an interesting ride from the very beginning when we had to go to a meeting and Craig brought the bid docs that sat this high with tabs all through them. And starting asking questions that early on to make sure that these projects, nothing was overlooked. So the extent of his knowledge with all the trades was very impressive. He works Saturdays, Sundays. He comes in at nights just to make sure that whatever's going on, they can get through the construction, make sure that the construction was left, the site was left ready. If he hears, I'll take care of it, he follows up with, I know you will because I'll be here. And so the success of these projects are really because of all of your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Again, it's a group effort, so it's not.
Yeah, but it's not equal.
I would like to extend an invitation to any board member that would like to tour the site as well. We'll get you some hard hats. You guys can walk around, and yeah. So just let me know when. Thank you.
I wanted to share that, excuse me, on Saturday morning, all of our administrators and board members, Dr. Hacker, met with Bob Jarvis, who is one of the members of the Delaware Valley Consortium for Equity and Excellence, and we talked about equity and excellence in our district. Our administrators shared every aspect of programming and district operation and how it related to student performance, diversity, belonging, all of the work that we're doing to look at students with regard to their achievement, how they experience school life day to day, and so many things that I can't even mention at this point. And I just want to extend my thanks to them for their time on Saturday morning and all the work that they've been doing this year to support our students, every student in this district, to make sure that every student is successful here. And I know all of our board members were in attendance at that workshop, and I wanted to offer them an opportunity to just share one or two takeaways from that, and we will be continuing our discussions about that and about equity and how our district will be continuing that charge and working with the Equitable Practices Committee on that. So I'd like to invite our board members to share.
Yeah, I'll start. I just want to, first I want to thank you for putting it all together for us and allowing us to kind of engage in that kind of dialogue and discourse. I thought it was really impactful, for at least for me, but I think I speak for everyone who was there. Although this was our kind of first meeting about it, I was really struck by how far along and progressive our district is in thinking of these things, and I was very impressed with the administrators and all of the buildings and what they brought to the table as to how they're thinking about the student experience every single day in their schools and ensuring that kids have the supports and the exposure to the academic rigor and the opportunities that every student should enjoy. So I just was impressed by how far along and progressive the direction we're already going, and I'm looking forward to learning more about how we can further, enhance that. So I just want to thank you for putting it all together, and well done to all of the administrators. It was really impressive.
I echo Janine's thanks to the administrators and also to Dr. Cherotesky for putting it together and starting this dialogue between the board and the administrators and really kind of pushing us along in this endeavor. I was struck by everything that Janine mentioned, but also Bob Jarvis, who has such extensive knowledge of this field, said that we as Springfield are one of his stellar districts, and I really think that speaks so highly, obviously, of the work that you are all doing here, and Dr. Hacker, you're leading the charge, and everybody I think feels this from in their heart, and that's really what I'm struck by, is that we we really do walk the walk and talk the talk, and I think that's I hope that we can just continue this path as we journey on this road. So thank you.
So again, I echo the thanks and the praise, and I'm so super impressed by everything that you guys have done so far. It's such important work for the success of every child. To start by defining what achievement actually means on a student-by-student basis is really, where the foundation has to begin. We talked a bit after the administration left, even looking at our mission statement, kind of reevaluating our mission and aligning it to all this work that's being done. High achieving is different for every student, and we need to recognize that every student can achieve great things in their own way. And I'm glad that we're putting in those supports. Lastly, I'm just so inspired by all of your collaboration across the entire district. We're looking at group-based learning. I think that we're doing it. We're showing everyone what it takes to collaborate and really make things happen. So thank you, everyone.
You don't have to.
I'll start to call on you.
I know, that's what I was worried about. I'm not going to echo the comments just to be a rebel. No, but thank you, Karen, for thinking of this, to put this together. It was a great idea. I'm really struck by, so I'm on my 8th year on the board, I'm struck by the quality of the team that's been put in place here, and the power of the work they're able to do now. So almost down the line, I was impressed by the conversations you were having. So that really struck me. And then I think content-wise, I was really super psyched to see how deeply we're starting to have the conversations about race and equity and achievement of all students. There were times here where we would have to push to have that conversation, and now it's just becoming more and more part of how do we meet everybody's needs. And I really appreciated that as well.
So, of course, like everyone else, really appreciate Karen putting the information, the resource, the retreat together, Dr. Hacker, and the administrators. I think for me, being one of the, I guess, the newest, the baby of the group on the school board, one of the things that impressed me is the commitment that the administrators have, that the school district has to this work. So I just really appreciate it. Our community appreciates it. And I think it lets people know that we're not afraid to tackle, tough topics, difficult, you used the term on Saturday, I can't remember, courageous conversations, to have courageous conversations. And I think it is just in conversations I have in the community is definitely needed and recognized. And I'm just excited to see the outcome and know that it's going to continue. So thank you all, appreciate it, and I'll just look forward to the continued work for everybody, us included. Thank you.
Do you really want me to think of something?
You don't have to echo anything.
I just wanted to make the point that we did not go for facials afterwards, right? Just so we can- but, no, I didn't think anything. Really? No, okay, so.
So I'll tell you what my thought is. It goes back to, obviously, the administration's doing a phenomenal job. It goes back to ultimately the board and the leadership. And I think that without the right mix of people, I don't know that it would be possible, or what you're trying to do would be as welcomed as it is. So thanks to 7 of 9. Yeah, I could do that to myself. I was going to, but.
Thank you, everybody. I do see, I think I want people to understand, too, that this work is never done. And we are continuing to work collaboratively. We're continuing to meet as a board. We'll use these times as well as other times to meet and talk about our mission and our vision and equity and how it all ties together for the benefit of our students. So stay tuned.
And I just want to add, in addition to thanking all the board members, obviously, for their time and commitment in terms of being there on Saturday to have these conversations, I do want to mention that we will be having another Equitable Practices Committee meeting on Thursday, April 25th at 6:30 in the middle school library. And I really was delighted to meet with a group of high school students ranging in age from freshmen through seniors this morning, approximately 15 students, many of whom attended a summit that was held at Coatesville High School on combating racial tension. And it's really incredible and inspiring to listen to students and their takeaways. And so I've asked them to come to our Equitable Practices Committee meeting and to share out with the people who come to that meeting what their impressions were and what they learned and what they believe can be doable action plans that we can perhaps implement in our schools. And I was really struck by how much they think about these issues as they go through schooling. It's not just about going into classes and thinking about their academic work, but they think about themselves and their place and their sense of belonging. But they also, to their credit, think very deeply about how their peers fit in as well. And they're very sensitive to the experience of their peers, and that came out loud and clear today in terms of some of the comments that they made. So I hope we'll have a very good showing at the next Equitable Practices Committee meeting, because as I said, I believe it will truly be inspiring to listen to the students before we break out into our subcommittees and continue the work that we've been doing this year. Yes, Thursday, April 25th, at 6:30 in the middle school library, and I'll continue to send information out about that in the coming weeks. Thank you.
All right, on to new business. Personnel. The Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment: certificated personnel, support personnel, temporary personnel, extended school year program personnel, extra pay for extra responsibilities, and conference workshop attendance. Is there a motion? Motion. And a second? Any comments or questions? Mr. King?
Ms. Jordan? Aye. Mr. Lapidus? Ms. Nelson? Aye. Mr. Ryan? Ms. Sarsfield? Aye. Ms. Lipinski? Dr. Taylor Tusker?
Aye. Number 2, Youth and Government Club Model Government Convention Trip. The Board of School Directors approves the Youth and Government Club to attend the Model Government Convention April 11th through April 14th, 2019 in Harrisburg, PA. Is there a motion? Motion. And a second? Second. Any comments or questions? Mr. King?
Ms. Jordan? Aye. Mr. Lapidus? Aye. Ms. Nelson? Aye. Mr. Ryan? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield? Aye. Ms. Lipinski? Aye. Dr. Taylor Tusker?
Aye. Number 3, Solicitor Services. The Board of School Directors approves the agreements for solicitor services with Fox Rothschild LLP for the period of July 1, 2019 until June 30th, 2020. Is there a motion? Motion. And a second. Any comments or questions? Mr. King?
Ms. Jordan? Aye. Mr. Lapidus? Aye. Ms. Nelson? Aye. Mr. Ryan? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield? Aye. Ms. Lipinski? Aye. Dr. Taylor Tusker?
Aye. Number 4, Wood Services, Inc. The Board of School Directors approves the agreement between the School District of Springfield Township and Wood Services, Inc. to provide services for student 201-90402-01 from March 19th, 2019 to June 30th, 2019. Is there a motion? Motion. And a second? Second. Any comments or questions? Mr. King?
Ms. Jordan? Mr. Lapidus? Aye. Ms. Nelson? Aye. Mr. Ryan? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield? Aye. Ms. Lipinski? Aye. Dr. Taylor Tusker?
Aye. Are there any public comments on non-agenda items?
Yes.
Okay, come forward.
Mr. Giuseppe, G-I-E-S-E-P-P-E, Monticelli, M-O-N-T-I-C-E-L-L-I, Ward 72. Good evening, honorable and not so honorable commissioners, and good evening, Esquire. And it's very great to see you back, Ms. Nelson, to the board meetings. I would have to comment tonight about something I, quite frankly, never really took a look at, but I finally did my homework on, and that would be, I found it quite interesting that most of the board of directors here choose to cross-file for when they're doing their petitions for being elected as a school director. And I believe the reason that is because they know that this is a straight vote district. People usually vote straight Republican or straight Democrat here in this township. and I believe they take advantage of that. And quite frankly, I think we only have 3 new people that are on the ballot this year. And that is quite shocking. There is some people on here that are seeking re-election, such as Ms. Saplinski and Ms. Sarsfield and Ms. Nelson. I move on to my next item. Ms. Nelson, you weren't here on May 14th or November 5th. I'm a victim of Jason Cattuso, by the way. I know of over 30 victims. I think that this district should do a independent investigation of that. That was back from 2015, but I think that really needs to be relooked at. And that would be my conclusion. I would have a Act 3 subpoena that I need to deliver tonight. So, Esquire, do you want to take it, or should Mr. King take it?
Act 3 subpoena?
Yeah, Act 3 records demand.
That's not a subpoena.
Who should take it, you or Mr. King?
You can give it to the board secretary.
I'll be emailing you this also. Later tonight, Mr. King? Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments on non-agenda items? Okay. There will be future meeting dates on Tuesday, April 23rd, 7 p.m. in the Freeze Memorial Lobby. There will be a school board meeting. There's an interim board meeting to be held on May 7th, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the Freeze Memorial Lobby, and a Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, April 9th at 2019 at 5 p.m. in the Administration Building.
And we're also going to be setting a date for an Academic Affairs Committee meeting, hopefully the end of the month.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you all for coming. Have a good evening.